welcome back to my kitchen, and today is our Soup for the Soul Sunday, and I made one of my absolute favorites. You're either going to love it or not try it. Just depends on whether or not you like asparagus. So today I have got this beautiful cream of asparagus soup, and honestly, I didn't eat asparagus until I was probably in my late 20s. And then I fell in love with the vegetable. So as you can see, this soup is decorated with some asparagus tips. And I'm going to show you how to blanch those. You just cut off some of the tips and don't put them in the soup. And I'm going to show you how to blanch them really quick. And then you can decorate the top of your soup with that before you serve it. And there are other things. You can add any kind of fresh herb. Now I want to show y'all something. Those of you that have been cooking with me, look what's been just living on my counter for the last couple of days. I think that is a strong hint for bread pudding. I'll leave the link below. Thanks again, and let's cook together. Melt 3 tablespoons of butter in your stock pot. And then we're going to add 1 large diced onion to the melted butter, or 2 medium-sized diced onions. We'll have to let that cook until the onions are translucent, so about 5 minutes. And again, you're going to want to stay with your onions, stirring them pretty often. You don't want them to burn. Now these onions have been cooking for 5 minutes, and you can see they're just beautiful, golden and yummy looking. And we're going to add in 1 teaspoon of garlic. Stir that around and let that cook for maybe 30 seconds. My kitchen smells great. Next, let's add some Vegetable Magic Paul Prudhomme seasoning. I'll leave the link below. And that's about a teaspoon or so. And now we're going to add our prepared asparagus. So with asparagus, you need to trim the tough ends off. And then you're going to cut, I'm adding a little salt here, which is great, brings out the flavor. And we'll add in some cracked black pepper before we put the asparagus in. But back to the asparagus. To prepare it, you've got to remove those really tough ends. You can snap them off or cut them off. And then you're going to cut your asparagus into about 1.5 to 2 inch lengths. You can see here. And this is about 1.5 pounds of asparagus. I reserved some tips, and those are going to be used for garnishing, but we're going to need to blanch them. Blanching is so easy. Just boil some water, pour it over those tips, let that sit for about 4 minutes, then put the tips in an ice bath. I'm adding 1 quart of chicken stock. Of course, if you have more asparagus, you're going to need more stock. But 4 cups was perfect for this pot. An ice bath is just simply a bowl of water with ice in it. And you just shock that asparagus, the little tips, in that ice water, and then pull them out, and they're going to be bright green. Just makes a beautiful, beautiful garnishment. Now we have to wait for this pot to come to a boil, and then we'll cover and simmer for 30 minutes. So now we've covered the pot, We're going to simmer for 30 minutes. Where did the soup go? Into my Vitamix. Yeah, you want to go ahead and puree the entire soup in a blender and then add it back to your pot. Add 1/3 cup of heavy cream, or you can skip this. If you want to do non-dairy, you can skip it. Stir that around. And then we're going to add one more ingredient, and that's Parmesan cheese. And that's a salty cheese, so it really adds a lot of flavor. You don't need a whole lot. 1/3 to 1/2 cup is fine. Stir that in, and y'all, the soup is done. And the good news about this one, you can actually freeze it for up to 3 months. So look at that, and it smells fabulous and tastes even better. So I'm going to serve up some and show you how to garnish it with the tips. I'll show you those bright green tips, and you can use other herbs as well. Basil, thyme, whatever you have. But see how beautiful and bright they are? They just add a little something to it. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next Sunday.